Will hit in prolific fashion with the bases loaded, as you see, but also with authority the other way. Got a piece of that 1-1.
Mike has been pulling off the ball lately. Earlier this year, he was right on the ball, driving the ball the other way. Remember the last homestand, he hit a ball over that right field fence at Shea Stadium. It was ankle high.
Good speed at third and second. Mo Vaughn, the runner at first. Devoid of speed. Well hit, deep center. Hubbard back, warning track wall. Grand slam, Piazza. He's over the 1,000 mark now in runs batted in. Numbers 998, 999, 1,000. And for good measure, Piazza himself, number 1,001, as he touches home plate, and the Mets have a 9-1 lead.
Well, that'll get Mike Piazza in the groove. Grand slam directly over the center field wall. Career RBI. He now has 1,001. Hit the ball very well. Straight away center field. Is there any ballpark too big for Mike Piazza?
Pond and Bayside.
With that in mind, all eyes this week were focused on the Giants' offensive line up at training camp at SUNY Albany, a group that is young, inexperienced, and now has a ton of pressure to try and earn respect around the league. But as I found out, even Giants quarterback Kerry Collins isn't worried about it.
On the surface, you look at a group that hadn't played a lot, and you'd be a little worried. This group, I'm not as worried. These guys have worked harder than any group that I've seen at any time in my NFL career. Sure, there's going to be mistakes. We all make mistakes, and a lot of them haven't played. But I feel that they've got the other things that are going to allow them to come along quicker than another group who hasn't worked as hard as they have.
Do you guys just laugh at that and say, guys, let us play the game first, then make those criticisms?
Absolutely. You know, if they want to make those criticisms, that's fine. They have their right to say and think what they want. But hopefully we're going to go out there and prove them all wrong.
If they don't expect nothing, then when you win, they're all like, hey. But if they're not expecting nothing, and if the worst thing happens, then they're not really. To be on the bottom of the totem pole, you only have one way to go, is up.
We don't really listen to what people say. People that write about us or predict, they really don't know what's going on the inside. We know what we can do, and we're looking forward to doing it.
Grab it hard, grab it hard, grab it hard.
People saying, this team, we're not going to give this team the respect they deserve, especially in the offensive line. How much does that fuel your motivation to prove everybody wrong out there?
Well, there's a little fuel there, obviously, but I've been doing this a long time, 23 years in the NFL. I've been with a number of teams that have had, good players, average players, and our problems were just green.
You went like this and then kind of went back like that.
I think we've got some good players, we've got some good young players, we've got some good athletes. But again, I think the goal is to have them learn the plays and the experience of playing together, regardless of their talent level.
Now you're just using a tight fit, Pat.
How do you guys handle McNally, especially you being the wise ass?
McNally, I think everybody takes him in stride. He's a funny guy. We love to be around him. He keeps a lot of levity in the meetings, which is what we need.
Who is the ringleader of the line? Who is the one that keeps you guys collectively together in gel?
Well, I think that would definitely have to be Dusty.
He's a crack-up. I mean, he was a senior when I was a freshman at Notre Dame, and I always remember Dusty trying to keep it light and joking around, and it's almost gotten worse where his joke vocabulary has expanded.
I don't know if it's because he's a veteran. He was probably a wisecracker as a rookie. Who knows? Just his personality. He's just a great guy.
Are you doing a solo act now out there?
Solo act? Not really. I'm waiting on somebody to pick up the pace, to be honest with you. Everybody's pretty humdrum right now. I'm waiting for something funny to happen.
Green 18.
How important is that to have that camaraderie off the field as well as on the field?
I think it's huge. A lot of us, our wives hang out together, and especially on the offensive line and Kerry, we really get together off the field and bond, and through barbecues and Thanksgiving dinners we've had together in the past.
Most of the linemen kind of live in the same area, and we keep in touch. After practice, we'll go do something every now and then, or get together and have a meal or something like that. So that's fun, and that's great for us as far as bonding or whatever, and we enjoy that.
All right, John, so riddle me this. You touched on this a little bit.
Years on the NBA hardwood were spent in Knickerbocker blue and orange. Patrick Ewing, an 11-time All-Star, voted one of the top 50 players in the history of the game. His numbers backed him up. He averaged nearly 23 points and over 10 rebounds per game as he pushed the Knicks into constant playoff contention. He just never got that ring.
I'm disappointed that I never won a championship, and I got to put that in the pros. I'm at peace, yes.
Sometimes it only takes but one team to be better than you. And several times they ran into those guys. It does not take anything away from Patrick Ewing, his legacy, and that he's a champion.
And Patrick did end up with the Orlando Magic after a season lost in Seattle. He knew his star was fading, so he finally decided that it's time to get out.
I think with any tough decision about your career, it's going to be hard to let go. And I think he did it when he felt comfortable. And I think he also did it at the right time.
I thought I had a great career. And I definitely had a great career here in New York. And, you know, how do I want people to remember me? Just that when he stepped out on the court, he gave it 110%. And he tried to do his best to help the team win.
And he did. Patrick's biggest nemesis, by the way, Michael Jordan.
Assistant coach with Washington. One of the NBA's all-time 50th greatest players, an 11-time All-Star, but weighed down with heavy expectations. Expectations he could never live up to after being selected #1 overall. Ewing averaged 21 points, 10 boards a game, but proved he couldn't do it alone.
I thought I had a great career, and I definitely had a great career here in New York. And you know, how do I want people to remember me? Just that when he stepped out on the court, he gave it 110%, and he tried to do his best to help the team win. I'm disappointed that I never won a championship, and I got to put that in the pros. I'm at peace, yes. We did the best that we could to help the franchise win. It didn't happen. Just got to move on. There's a lot of other great players who have never won a championship.
Patrick Ewing. He ranks 4th in both career points and rebounds in NBA history among players drafted #1 overall. Only Kareem, Elvin Hayes, and Hakeem Olajuwon are above him. Of course, that trio has combined for 9 NBA championships. Still to come is the forceful big man on the
paid the price with
$1 payroll only added up to headaches caused by the underachieving performances of Roberto Alomar, Mo Vaughn, Roger Cedeno, and Jeremy Burnett. Did I leave anyone out? The Mets finished in last place for the first time since 1993. All that and more led to today's firing of manager Bobby Valentine with 1 year left on his contract. GM Steve Phillips, he stays. Team owner Fred Wilpon wished it didn't come to this.
In the last couple of weeks, I just felt it was in the best interest of this organization in going forward in 2003 and then thereafter to have a new manager. This is really a performance issue, and the disappointment of the performance of the team, performance that everybody expected a competitive team, and we didn't have one.
You know what? In the case of the Mets, less was more. Over the last 4 years, their payroll has gone from $62 million in 1999 to $95 million in 2002. And as the payroll went up, the wins went down. 97 in 99 to 75 this past season. And our ESPN.com question of the night.
What happens when a manager loses his job? Tonight, Valentine is jobless after being fired by the Mets today. The Mets owner Fred Wilpon says that he did not lie when he had earlier given Valentine a vote of confidence. He just changed his mind, and he says that it wasn't for lack of trying that Valentine could not get the job done.
I just didn't see the energy that was needed. And Bobby tried his hardest, there's no question about that. So I'd rather not place fault on Bobby and say we didn't do it as an organization.
I think Bobby was working every angle he possibly could to try to get this team back on track. I think the effort was there, and the desire to there, and the caring was there for him to try to do that.
But no matter how much Valentine did try, when all is said and done, it's all about winning. It is the life of a baseball manager in New York.
The highs are very high, as we both experienced a couple of years ago in the World Series, and when things don't go well, you know, you get fired. I mean, we've both been fired by the Mets, and It's something that, you know, when you don't win, that's what happens.
Bobby Valentine takes solace. That's not bad.
An accomplishment, but when you only do it for all the wrong reasons, that's the Mets. For that and much more, the skipper of that sinking ship was thrown overboard today. Yep, Bobby Valentine, the ringmaster of the circus, was fired after 6+ seasons. Matt Weiner has more.
With a $102 million payroll and much of the Mets' 2000 World Series team still intact, expectations were high.
I just think that it's an exciting group of guys and personality, and the trick's going to be now pulling it all together in the clubhouse.
The Mets were a veteran team with 8 former All-Stars after acquiring Roberto Alomar, Mo Vaughn, and Jeremy Burnitz in the offseason. But those 3 combined to bat .248, contributing to the Mets finishing 24th in the bigs in runs scored. They also led the majors in errors and were the first team in Major League history to go an entire calendar month without winning a home game. But struggles on the field don't begin to tell the whole story of the 2002 New York Mets. Instead, it was off-field controversies that dominated the headlines in the Big Apple. And Valentine was front and center in every one. From an interview in Details magazine that erupted into a full-fledged gossip war in the New York tabloids.
I think that that's embarrassing to the journalistic world, that someone would have to come out. I mean, are we also going to have to go around and say we're not terrorists and we're not murderers and all the things we're not? What Mike is was a wonderful guy and a great baseball player.
To Valentine admitting there was a leadership void on his team and that he hadn't done a good job managing the clubhouse. During one low point, Valentine vehemently denied a suggestion he was trying to get fired.
It's insulting, it's degrading, and it's the worst thing that's ever been said about me in my life. If it's ever said again, I find a person who says it, I will get this. I will not say what I want to say.
To a drug controversy in September in which Valentine suggested he'd been worried in spring training about potential drug problems within the team.
It's not a thing you would do, to go out and try to stand up there and dodge a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Whoa! That might not be the thing you want to do.
When World Series aspirations manifest in last-place realizations, the blame must fall somewhere. Even master of disguise Valentine couldn't hide from that.
Well, with the games played today and tonight.
Nothing Rangers lead. The captain had just 7 goals last year, but just 3 minutes later, he would get his second of the game, shopping on the doorstep right here and beating Artis Urbe 2-0 Rangers. Third period. Peter Nedved on a pass from Eric Lindros lights the lamp, his second of the game. 4-0 Blue Shirts. The Rangers bloodied Rod Brindamore and the defending Eastern Conference champs tonight. 4-1 the final. A great debut for head coach Brian Trottier. Meanwhile, the Devils open up the season tomorrow night on the road in Ottawa, starting to resemble a circus act. Do they even have a chance to win this year?
I think they do, John, but when you talk about the Knicks, the season opener is just 10 days away. 9 days away, I'm sorry. And this is a club that's starting to play very well, having just won all 3 games on their West Coast swing. But it's also a team that's had lots of off-the-court problems in this preseason. Now, the Knicks held an open practice today at St. John's, and that's where General Manager Scott Layden addressed the latest on the Latrell Sprewell situation.
Hearing that Latrell's having a presser tomorrow, do you have any comment on what it might be about, or does it concern you at all?
You know, with respect, we're not making any more comments about Latrell, and we've been consistent about that, and so I'm just going to leave it at that.
We got a job to do. You know, we go out and we're a team. You know, when he gets back, you know, we've kind of left Spree and his situation to let the management handle it. And because if we get caught up into it, it'll just be a soap opera. So we go into practice every day with a job to do.
And right now, the Knicks are doing their job, and no one is more happy than head coach Don Chaney, who carefully observed today's scrimmage at St. John's University.
You run a lot of the offense that you might run in the season, or it's just pretty generic?
Game type setting. So, you know, we try to run everything that we have in our repertoire according to the circumstances. So if the defense plays a certain way, we have certain sets and certain options for those particular things.
Hey, Charlie's been playing really well, huh? I mean, this is an inspired Charlie Ward.
Yes, he's been playing fantastic.
But still, Chaney is very cautious, remembering these games don't count.
I'm very pleased at the way our guys are hanging in and winning games, but, you know, we're still in exhibition. So it's not really a surprise to me because, you know, if we were in the season, and went out west and won 3 in a row, yeah, I would be surprised. Yeah, but this is still exhibition.
Even though preseason doesn't count, it's just, it's good for us. It's a confidence builder for us to go out and try and get as many wins as we can and get ready to prepare us for the regular season. When we go out on the court, we know that people are not going to believe in us, so we have no choice but to step it up. Everybody has kind of taken it upon themselves to raise their level of intensity and focus in their game. And we're just using this preseason to kind of as motivation, because nobody's going to give us a chance, so we're kind of proving to ourselves first and then let the rest take care of itself, that we can still have a very good season.
Well, they can have a good season, but there's a lot depending upon what...
Art Howe looks to be coming to New York to manage the Mets on a reported 4-year deal worth $9.4 million. That after Lou Piniella seems set for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So, who was the winner in this recent managerial ordeal? Howe does win because he gets a pay raise and hits the big time, but long term, I don't think he'll last here. The Mets and their fans? I don't think so. The Mets settled for at least second best, and by the way, what was wrong with Willie Randolph? At least we knew he's New York. Lou Piniella, he breezes into semi-retirement with a big raise, but Sweet Lou takes over a perpetually sour organization that's done nothing but lose since its inception. Know who the real winner is? A guy by the name of Alan Nero. He is the agent for both Lou Piniella and Art Howe. Alan Nero gets a win-win no matter who wins or loses between Tampa Bay and the Mets. World Series tonight.
Clark, talk with the new skipper who apparently has a pretty thick skin.
And how, Lisa? The Mets wanted Lou Piniella. They got Art Howe. He calls himself a blue-collar guy. Well, he could be the richest blue-collar worker in the land tonight after signing a 4-year, $9.4 million contract to become the Mets manager. But Art Howe is a likable guy, and as he puts it, what you see is what you get. What we saw when he was introduced by the Mets was a man who took all the criticism about his selection
I'd like to
in
thank
stride.
you all out there for all the nice articles you've been writing about me since I was announced. And I guess this means I'll never get a roast, because you've already done it.
What do you say to the fans who say, well, Lou should have been here and he's not, and here's Art Howe, and we don't have a lot of confidence in him?
Well, I've heard that before. Wherever I've gone, like I said, I wasn't the first choice in any of the other two managing positions I've gotten, but I've won those people over. I think when they see my work ethic and what I bring to the team and to the city, I think they'll be proud to have me. I hope they will.
I want to win next year. I understand that I'm on the line, as you say, and I want to win, and I believe Art Howe's the right guy to get us the best possible chance to win next year and beyond.
You're willing to put your job on the line for Art Howe?
I already have.
The situation here is, and this is the way I feel, I might not have been first choice, but I'm the right choice.
If nothing else, he's a man who is comfortable in his own skin, and we'll find out how thick that skin is because Art Howe is now manager of the New York Mets. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
It's a team that finished in last place in the National League East this year.
I know that's going to be a tremendous challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to it. But I've met challenges before in my life. What you see is what you get. I'm a genuine guy. I'm a blue-collar guy. I'm going to work hard for this Met organization.
We're very fortunate to secure a 4-year contract for $9.4 million and to lock Art Howe up as our manager because we wanted him as much as he wanted this opportunity to come to New York in this forum and to take on this challenge that is New York baseball.
They weren't saying that when they're trying to hire Lou Piniella. Anyway, Howe's managed in the major leagues for 12 years, the last 7 in Oakland. He led the Athletics to the playoffs in the last 3 seasons and won division titles this year and in 2000. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Experts finishing over the 500 mark in the Big East and winning 20 games. They did it by sheer force of their will and without scoring from the outside with any consistency. There are high hopes for a return again to the big dance as they prepare for the new year and an exhibition opener against the Globetrotters Friday at the Garden.
We want to go out and compete and put ourselves in a position where maybe we have even a chance of winning the game against some of these former NBA players. It's very important for us to play against real basketball players, especially early, to find out, just how much work we need to do. This will be as good a preseason test as you're going to face.
What are the expectations for this year's team?
I think we're going to go, our goals is to go to the Final Four, hopefully win a national championship. Right now, as you look at rankings, we're the underdogs, and that's the way we like it, because we want to come out and shock a lot of people like we've been doing in the past.
We got a taste of what we can do last year with nobody knowing who we was, like individually, but as a team, we stuck together and believed in each other. So our goals this year are very high, as far as just not getting to the tournament, trying to make some noise in the tournament.
We deep this year, and with last year players coming in, you know, we got a little bit more experience. So you got guys like Timmy Doyle, Elijah Ingram, you got Grady Reynolds. Them guys, they play ball all their lives, so they know how to play. So with the guys coming back from last year and with the new guys, you're gonna see a different team, a better team.
I am the oldest guy that's been here, but you also got players like, you know, Marcus that been in the program for a year. You got Willie Shaw, you know, Eric King. I mean, they're not veterans, but they've been in tough situations. They've been here, you know, through the good and bad, and they know how, you know, it can be during the season. And I'm just the oldest player. I'm like one of the coaches, but, you know, I'm just like one of them. I've just been here long enough, but they know as well as I know, I mean, what it takes to win, and that's what we're going to do.
Once again, St. John's against the more serious Harlem Globetrotter team Friday night right here at the Garden. Back in a moment to wrap it up on this edition of the MSG.
Pretty simple. They're handing out these towels before the game. Win and in. Pretty simple for the Giants. That's all they had to do. Beat the Eagles, and they would make the playoffs. And here's a look at the highlights. Eagles got the ball first, moved right down the field. Deuce Staley takes the screen, and the Deuce gets loose for 30 yards down to the Giants' 21-yard line. The next play, a little trickery. Double reverse, fools the Giants. James Thrash, 21 yards to pay dirt. Eagles go 67 yards in 4 plays, take a 7-0 lead. Giants try to respond. The first play from scrimmage, Kerry Collins to Jeremy Shockey, who makes a nice grab and turns upfield for a gain of 24 yards. 4 plays later, Collins tries to hit Shockey in the end zone, but Michael Lewis corrals the tip ball, and the Giants waste a golden opportunity in the red zone. Now in the second, the Giants look to tie it up. Charles Stackhouse gets to the corner and gets into the end zone for an apparent touchdown. Hold the phone. Yeah, flag on the field, holding. So they get another crack at it, but Tiki Barber puts the ball on the turf, and the Eagles recover. In the fourth, the Giants had another touchdown call back on a penalty, but wouldn't be denied on this drive. Shockey, the great grab over Brian Dawkins, ties it at 7. On the Giants' next possession, Tiki once again fumbles. Third time on the day, Eagles recover. Despite the fumble, Tiki had a career-high 204 yards on the ground. And then the Eagles with an opportunity to win it. Under 2 minutes left, David Aiken's kick is wide. The 35-yard field goal is wide. They go to overtime. Eagles want to toss, elected to receive, but on third down, A.J. Feely picked off by Sean Williams, giving the Giants new life. Big 15-yard penalty gave the Giants great field position. And on the 4th and 5, Matt Bryant, who had missed an earlier attempt at a field goal, nails the 39-yard game winner. Eagles pull out the Eagles lose this one 10-7, and the Giants are now headed to the playoffs.
It won't be over until we say it's over. And there's a lot of character, a lot of fight out there. I told them, too, it was going to take all 60 minutes. I didn't realize it was going to go over. But I'm really proud of them, because there were many times during the game they could have quit.
You know, feel like a cat with like 9 lives, and we use 8 of them. But we still got life in us. Now it's a new season, new beginning.
Talk about this wacky season, Tiki.
Hey, it's up and down. It's the way the NFL is. But it's a beautiful thing. You know, you give yourself opportunities like we got, get some help from outside before you know we're in the playoffs.
To have the turnovers we had, to be in the position that we put ourselves in, to hang on and win was phenomenal.
It certainly is, and now the Giants can sit back on their lazy boy tomorrow, recline a little bit, and find out who they're going to play.
Refusing to back down in the face of adversity, and their reward, a chance to chase after their respective Super Bowl dreams. Yesterday was a moment to savor, but now Coach Herman Edwards' clothes have dried off. The Jets' heroic effort that capsized the Packers to win the division is already a thing of the past. Now the focus is the upcoming playoff game against the Colts.
There's one key ingredient that we all have, and that is we want to win. And however we get that done, I don't think anybody really cares.
Likewise, the Giants are also riding high. With yesterday's dramatic victory, Big Blue has rattled off 4 straight wins, but it means nothing without earning a 5th this Sunday in San Francisco.
hey, we'll just keep it going. We've got momentum, and we're confident, and we'll prepare this week well, and we'll go out in San Francisco and see what happens.
4 weeks ago, we were dead. No one gave. I don't think my mom thought we were going to do anything. So it's good now to finally be in the playoff, to put all that to rest. And right now, like I said earlier, it's a one-game season.
All right, well, let's talk football.
Let's talk football. I know you don't have Predicto-Ball. Scott took it on vacation with him.
That with him, right?
But give us a prediction maybe for the Jets.
Well, you know what? Let's break it down. First off, they're taking on a Colts team that is very, very beatable. And most importantly, the Jets are truly playing their best football of the year right now. And that's when it counts. It all comes down to this man, Chad Pennington. He's really turned out to be a true leader for the troops. And if he sticks with what's been working as of late, the Jets realistically have a great chance and should roll right over those Indianapolis Colts.
Well, let's take a look at the Giants versus the 49ers. The 49ers didn't play all that well tonight.
Right, exactly. I think that's a great indication. Well, actually not a great indication because they had a lot of the backups in and nothing was at stake for the 49ers tonight. But it's kind of interesting from the Giants' standpoint is that everything goes turns full circle because this is actually a rematch of the first game of the season, Giants versus the 49ers, and trust me, it was very forgettable. Kerry Collins was constantly under fire and got little protection from the O-line in that game. Also threw in a couple of interceptions to round out a very rough evening. And when they needed a defensive stand with the game tied, Terrell Owens picked him apart, catching a big pass, and that led to a late field goal as the 49ers won. But things are very, very different with the Giants really clicking on all cylinders. So I like the Giants' chances right now. And, of course, don't forget you can watch the Jets' first-round game against the Colts this Saturday right here on ABC 7. Yes. Kickoff set for 4:30 p.m. Don't miss that one. And on Sunday, of course, the Giants will try to get it done on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. That game also set for 4.
On the Sixers in the city of brotherly love, Allen Iverson, a late addition to this game. Hello. Sprewell knew all along he was in. Headed downtown early and often. 7 3-pointers. He had 31 points. Still the Sixers by 1 at the half. Allen Iverson kept his club in it. Iverson with 30. So down the stretch we go. The Knicks down by 3. Allen Houston, who matched Spree with 31, tied the game there. A minute later, Sprewell for the lead. Oh, yeah. The Knicks would go on to set a franchise record with 16 three-pointers. Charlie Ward had the final one. He also knocked down 3 crucial free throws. The Knicks snapped the 3-game losing streak. They finally win one, 114-112 in the final minutes. Meanwhile, in Toronto, the Nets laced them up, looking to rebound from last night's